This movement is neither Islamic nor a state. It is a death cult, reaching out to countries such as Australia. Cabinet has authorised the deployment of Australian Special Forces into Iraq to advise and assist Iraqi forces.
The government has decided to commit Australian forces to action to disarm Iraq. It will make it less likely that a devastating terrorist attack will be carried out against Australia.
When anyone dies, you can kind of idealise a person, but I think with Paul, not even the ideal kind of gives him credit. He was a very lovely, gentle, wonderful man. He was in the Australian Air Force for about 14 years, and he then transferred to the British Air Force. I talked to Paul the morning he was killed. We had a really nice chat, just brief, and he said, I'll try and call you the next day. And a friend of mine walked into the house. She said there's been a crash, and it was almost like the adrenaline was instant. Sorry. I decided that I would tell the children, because they were already asking questions, I had to tell them that maybe Daddy could have, died. It's probably the most difficult thing I had. The current situation in Iraq is tremendously complex, and I don't have the answers. I think the way we go to war, or the processes, are flawed as it stands within the Australian democratic process. Time and time again, it's been counterproductive, meddling in the Middle East.
Basically, I joined up the Army straight out of school. I went to 2 Cav, 2nd Cavalry Regiment, in 2004, and by November of that year we were in Iraq. Mosul and Tal Afar, well, they've both fallen, and Tal Afar we were driving through all the time. It was quite surreal seeing that. You always have that sort of strong sense of patriotism where you do actually want to do something right. I do feel some need, or like an urge that I do want to do something about it. It's wrong, like what they're doing, so something needs to be done. Humanely, we really should be getting involved to some extent. So the only way to push people out is actually to go in there. So definitely we need some form of boots on the ground. Basically no war, no anything has ever been won from the air. The threat is real. There's definitely a threat here in Australia. ISIS have been training in for so many years. We don't know who's out there, we don't know what issues are there.
I was always sort of drawn towards joining the Army. I liked, the idea of being part of something bigger. After 9/11, it sort of probably made me a bit keener. I thought that we were fighting the good fight, I guess. I wanted to help out. Our role in Iraq was security for the ambassador. There was a high threat of improvised explosive devices and a threat of ambush. I guess the most important thing, and everyone says it's your mates. They're the reason why you work as hard as you do, because you're trying to keep each other safe. The stuff outside of that, like why we're there, all that, doesn't really matter when you're on operations. It's just getting yourself and your mates home safe. Ben's death changed the way I thought about our trip. It was definitely a wake-up call for me. It changed the way I thought about a lot of things. I chose to pull myself off the trip and go home back to Australia. I don't know if we should be getting involved in Iraq. I think the problem with Western countries is we try and put a template of how life is here onto countries like Iraq and Afghanistan. They're not even a unified country, so how can you help a country that is fighting with itself? You know, if we got rid of ISIS, I think that someone else would just take their place. We do have an obligation to help Iraq because, you know, we helped put them in the position that they're in now, I guess, you know. But I don't think that putting our guys on the ground is gonna change anything.
There are times where I feel quite a bit of despair around the situation and a bit of hopelessness.
It's difficult to know what the line is to draw in the sand. There definitely needs to be boots on the ground. It does need to be Iraq fighting for Iraq. You basically talk 3 generations before you can see real change, and it wasn't even 10 years.
It's definitely one of the best things I've done, but in saying that, it's probably one of the worst as well. Guys have paid the ultimate price for, you know, for what? I guess, you know, that's a hard thing to deal with.